Aye.
Good evening, and welcome to the March 6th regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lower Macungie Township. Please join me for a pledge to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, everyone is here except for President Higgins. Batting for Commissioner Bruman is Mark Fisher, and batting for Mr. McAdam is Michelle Fountain. Thank you. Okay. There are no agenda modifications. There are no announcements and presentations. Hearings and approvals. 6.1, consideration of award bidding for tree services. Bruce.
Yes, as discussed in detail at the last workshop meeting, the township did seek proposals for various tree cutting services that the Public Works Department utilizes. We did receive one response back to those proposals from Bartlett Tree Experts, Shimerville Road, Emmaus. This is a 34-month agreement to get us to the end of this year and then the additional years. And there's also two potential one-year agreements until December 31st, 2029. We're recommending that the board consider awarding this proposal to Bartlett Tree Experts.
Move to approve. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Thank you. Okay, and 6.2, consideration of agreement with the PA Turnpike for utility work related to the turnpike widening at East Texas Road. Bruce.
Thank you. As part of the future bridge construction project, it's necessary that the commission alter two township sewer manholes. This agreement allows them to have their contractor complete their work as it's been bidded or will be bid as part of their overall contract. The amount's $2,810. We think this is an efficient way to have those raised and made appropriate for the bridge project.
Move to approve. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any Board of Commissioner comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Thank you. Public comment to non-agenda topics. Okay. Communications. Bruce.
Thank you. We have several this evening. Chet Pesta from PennDOT notifying the township of local road traffic counting that's going to take place on various township roads. Peter Oswalt, statement of interest for the Public Safety Committee. Teresa Schweier, notice of current officers of the Library Board. And we have one item that came in after the agenda. We'll make sure it's on for the 20th for the board's consideration. We do have a resignation by Ms. Martine Mininger from the Planning Commission. With that part, would like to have Ms. Flexer go out and begin to seek applications for the potential voided space after the board considers it at its next meeting on the 20th. And that's all I have for communication.
Thank you. There are no appointments this evening. So moving to approval of the minutes from February 20th. Move to approve. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any commissioner comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Okay, approval of transfer bill list and payrolls. Payroll, Bruce.
Thank you. I have the following for your consideration. The general fund, $336,469.25. The solid waste fund, $396,543.81. The sewer fund, $15,994.98. The debt service fund, $28,458. The Capital Projects Fund, $13,753.83. The Liquid Fuels Fund, $19,978.23. The payroll, $186,370.43. The Developer Escrow Fund, $27,108.62, for a total of all funds, $1,024,677.15.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to pay the bills. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any commissioner comment?
Bruce. In the contract with the Teamsters, there was an agreement for the Teamsters to switch to the township health insurance, right?
So there are two different bargaining units, both Teamsters. One is the clerical employees. They are on a Capital Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. The other component is Public Works. They are on the Teamsters Health and Wellness Fund.
But they were supposed to switch over to the township insurance.
So they weren't supposed to switch to the township insurance. As part of the agreement, they are on that Teamsters Health and Welfare Fund. There was a change as the township and the union worked together to remove the OPEB healthcare benefit. The trust, the Teamsters Healthcare Trust, moved them from a 16 plan that included retiree healthcare to Plan 14. So they are still in that component. The township did realize a cost savings per month by that change as they remained in the same plan.
But so they are going to stay with the Teamsters plan.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any public comment on paying the bills? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Departmental matters, engineering, Michelle.
Thank you. For you tonight, I have escrow release number 1 for the Spring Creek Estates Development, lots 2 and 4. This is the development that has 8 townhomes in 2 buildings on Steinway and 8 townhomes on Dana Road. We are recommending the reduction in their financial security in the amount of $379,964.77.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-08, security release for Spring Creek Estates 2022. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional commissioner comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank
Any-
you.
Anything else, Michelle?
No, I don't have any.
Thank you very much. Planning, Vince.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. This piece, Planning Commission meeting on Tuesday night. There's one item on the agenda, which was tabled from the February meeting, which is Hamilton Square. So other than that, I have no report tonight, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the planner? You, Solicitor, Mark, Mr. Fisher.
I have nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Township Manager report, Bruce?
I have nothing to report unless there's questions for me.
Wow. Okay, any,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure, go ahead.
The pavilion update for the Rodney Mangus property.
We're still looking at the pavilion at some point, when we get to it on our list of priorities. We're investigating and seeing what our opportunities are there, whether that's a, total demolishment of the building, or if there's ability to salvage, components, for a pavilion. So, probably in a couple months, we'll have a better status update, on where we're going. So we're hopeful to save, components for a pavilion. We need to see what kind of work in both permitting and zoning side to see if we can realize that. So nothing since the last workshop meeting last week.
Hey, just so I understand it right, quotes go out for electric work. am I correct when they bid it, the limit is 22,000, and when it goes out for quotes, it exceeds 11, it has to exceed 11,000.
Yeah, so the township follows township code for these things when we acquire or look to purchase items. So they designate by state law certain thresholds that the township needs to make sure we're hitting provisions on. So and these rates go up every year. They're adjusted for inflation, not by much, a couple $100. So what happens is under that 11,000, and it's updated for 2025, but under that threshold, the state law does not require any quotes. Just you can engage one vendor. From that next threshold, that 11,000 and change to 22,000, I think it's 600 this year. The township does engage in working to obtain 3 quotes per the law, which is either telephonic or written quotes. We try to have written quotes. If vendors don't respond back to us, that by the law is a refusal, but an attempt to get 3 quotes. So we try to, and then anything over that threshold, it's necessary that we formally bid that work. And then anything over 25,000 for certain things requires prevailing wage. So we're mindful of those kind of things when we go over 25,000 for certain processes. So even under 11,000, we try to be mindful on our end to engage various vendors to make sure we're getting the best components of pricing for our business operation. You can, by law, engage in co-star purchasing. Co-star purchasing does allow if you're under a state contract, if it's mentioned in the state contract, those thresholds for that bidding are not in play. So you could say buy a piece of equipment like a dump truck for $80,000 in co-stars, and that relieves you from that over 22,000 bidding. However, when we make those type of purchases here, even if they are co-stars, we look to try to identify multiple vendors to make sure that we are in the right component for pricing. So there are several different areas that we engage in when we look for a difference of quotes, which are written or by phone, versus formal bid process like you gentlemen see that come before you, and then we then award. So electric work on one of those components would be, is the electric work sub 22,000, would look to see various vendors normally that we deal with. We would get pricing to make sure that we have the lowest price and opportunity before we engage that. So electrical work over 25,000, we would need to be mindful where we are, if that has to be prevailing wage, if it's part of a bigger project. And fortunately, we have our consultants and legal team to make sure that we're, when we have questions of that nature on purchasing, to also assist us. The township has a policy on purchasing. We have an updated draft policy to the finance department. We gave that to them last fall to work through. We have older thresholds in our purchasing policy from the former law that didn't account for the inflation. So we're at like 18,900 is our upper threshold, 10,000 and change on the lower. But we'll have a policy update for the board to make sure we're compliant with the law and have it be stated in that policy, more vague type opportunity that says to be following the state law as it's adopted and updated every year. So there are various different things on bidding / quotes, how we engage.
The reason I asked this, because I am a believer of competitive bidding. Best job for the citizens of the township. So speaking solely of the recycling center bid, when we go out for electrical bids, competitive bidding, does it include the whole job there, or are we piecemealing this?
Yeah, so
Because that could make a big difference if we piecemealed it.
Yeah.
Every job would be under, keep us out of competitive bidding.
yeah, so piecemealing would be illegal, so we would make sure that we don't piecemeal jobs. Looking at the scope of what we want in that building as far as power, light, and receptacles, and overhead garage doors for that facility as it stands now. It has no heat, no electric, no cameras, and nothing else in that facility. So as we put together our scope of work for what we want to see in that building at this point, and come up with permitting as we move through the system, we can kind of gauge the range of where we are. We think that work is sub 22,600 at this point. So that does require 3 quotes. But as we go through permitting, make sure we're ensuring that we meet building code and having our general scope of what we think we're going to need there. The talk has been receptacles, overhead lighting, garage doors, heat at this point to get us finally in that building to work with that and, so we see long-term what we want to do with that space. Right now it has nothing. So we think that for a storage building is going to be our requirement at this point. So we're not looking for an over-the-top type build-out at this point. And of course, once we go to the next level where we expand that building, we know it's going to require a sprinkler system, things of that nature. So we're trying to be very mindful about our future planning on what that building ends up as out there, whether it's additional space, bigger public works facility, or just basically where it is now storing equipment inside. We don't want to put taxpayer dollars towards something and then designate a building or facility for that purpose after we've already spent dollars on the compost center. So the Public Works Director is working through his needs assessment for all of our facilities. That is one that he's mindful of as we bring those things online.
All right, my next question, the Pratcher Farm update, we talked about at the workshop, I'll just lump them all together. Signage, path maintenance update, the driveway status, and small parking for the fishing pond.
Yeah, we've had some discussions since the workshop a couple days ago. We're continuing to, as we know, the cut pathway for just lawn at this point. We're working to make sure that is where it needs to be and it's passable and safe for recognition as the trail and our trail plan. So, I know the Public Works Director, I believe, was out there driving it the other day again. Him and I will probably walk it at some point. So the pathway definitely, if it grows in and it's flat and kind of safe, it was, we've planted it, rock hounded it, and kind of established it. So we'll see that happened late last year. So we'll see how that grows in. Then we'll set the signage. Signage, we've been working to update various parks. So when we get a package together, we'll have that component. We also had a brief discussion, and he's not here this evening, so I don't want to put this on his department until we're ready. But we had some preliminary discussions actually about the ability for Public Works to work through cutting that roadway and then maybe establishing part of that parking lot. So as he gets up to speed, since he's newer with his workforce and what they can accomplish, we have a bulldozer, we have some various other equipment and our skid steers. If it's something we think we can accomplish, if not, we'll be prepared to go out to that formal bid, as we just discussed, for a significant project with the engineer's office. So they have the spec. It was shared again after our workshop meeting to confirm it's still what we're looking at. So we're continuing to move forward.
Right, the reason I brought it up with the path and the driveway, which Vince will confirm with me, the time is now to move on it before the rain and the mud season comes. Or rain and mud does delay a lot of projects. I think that walking path would be, were you back there, Vince?
Not recently.
Correct, but anyway, would be muddy mess if we got into heavy rains in April and May, and it would just push it back. And we couldn't do something with it, so my opinion at times.
Yeah, I think,
And then, maybe we can maybe use it in spring. To get it, in shape that I think it's acceptable, that the public can use it and get some signage.
yeah, they,
That would be my wish.
I'll give the board an update at our workshop meeting. We are working on some restorations right now, this campus, Stanfield, playground. So we are in the process of out doing restoration. I just don't know what the time frame is now to, as they're working through that process. So better question for the Public Works Director. I'll defer to him, but I'll get an answer for the board for the workshop.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for the township manager? Okay, our next board meeting will be March 20th, and the next workshop will be the 24th. There is no executive session tonight. It is 6:21. We are adjourned.